Hey guys, welcome back to my sewing room. I'm Kelly and you found me here on Pick and Stitches, and today we are going to knock out this fast and easy, beginner-friendly 4-patch quilt. You can find the pattern over on my website. I'm going to have that as a free download, and I've colored it out with a very simple, kind of red, white, and blue. If you want to keep things easy, I would definitely pick your accent color here to be a non-directional print. So absolutely 100% up to you. This is going to be a super fast and easy sew out, but if you have a directional print, there's always a little bit more thought process in there. So the first thing that we're going to do is strip cut all of our pieces. So let's jump right on in and I'll show you how we do that.
So after you've picked your 3 fabrics, we're going to start by cutting out our 4 patch. So we're going to make 5-inch strips on the width of fabric. I like that other rotary blade, but I can use this one in my right or my left. So I find that it has its advantages too. Oops. Okay. So we're going to cut 6 width of fabric by 5 inches. And we're going to do this for our other color as well. Okay, so this is going to be our larger squares. We're going to cut these into 9.5-inch strips and then into 9.5-inch squares. So I'm going to use this ruler to help me out. Okay, now we've got our 6 strips of the 9.5. We're just going to go ahead and subcut these. Sorry, playing Tetris again. Okay. So now we'll subcut these into our 9.5-inch squares. We'll do them a couple at a time. Yeah, that'll work. I'm just going to go ahead and flip them around so they're all facing the same way. And then this little bit is going to go into our scrap pile. In fact, that is, yeah, that'll be plenty for a scrappy binding at least. Not on this quilt maybe, but somewhere down the line. Okay, so now all of our cutting is done. Well, the first step of cutting, we'll say. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two colors that I'm going to use to make my 4-patch, and I'm just going to grab one of each strip, and I'm going to sew them right sides together 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to press towards my darker side. So let's move over to the machine for that.
Okay, so now we've come over to the machine. We're just going to sew down 1/4 inch this entire length. Okay, after you have all your 6 strip sets sewn together, we'll go press them.
Okay, now that we've got all of those sewn together, we're just going to press towards the dark side. And then once we've pressed all those open, we're going to move back to the cutting station. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my strip set and I'm going to cut it into 5-inch sections. So again, I like this ruler because it is 5 inches and I can just use it across the board. There we go. So we'll cut this into 5-inch sections. I'm going to line up my center line with my seam line with a line on the ruler. And we'll just go down. Flip it around and we'll cut them down. And then that'll go in our scrap bin. I thought I was missing one. So that's going to give me 8. So we'll have 8 from each strip set, and then we will take these and go back to the machine. We're going to offset them because we press towards the dark. They will nest nicely, and then we're going to sew each strip set down together.
Now that we've got all of our strawberries cut apart, I'm going to keep them all the same direction. Again, if you've got a directional print, you know, you're going to want to pay attention to that, but ours are all the same. And I'm just going to alternate. We press to the dark side, so these guys are going to nest, and we're going to sew them all together.
Okay, so now we have our 4 patches sewn together. I'm just going to set my seams and then press them to one side. And if you'd like, you can flip these over and press them open. These are not going to have a terrible amount of seams, so I am just going to stay with them pressed to one side.
Okay, and now if you have if you've stuck with a pattern that doesn't have a direction, this is going to be really simple and straightforward. I'm keeping my pattern in the top left corner, and I'm going to make my first 4 rows. So that's going to be a solid, and then I'm going to attach a 4 patch. So as long as I've got my 4 patch in that top left corner, I am all set. And we're just going to alternate all the way across. We've got blocks across, and we're going to make 4 of these that start one more. Okay, so we're going to make 4 of this row, and then we're going to press all of these one direction, and then we're going to make 4 of the ones that start with this block and go to this one. Now, if you use a print that's non-directional, you can just make all your rows exactly the same, and then you're going to press 4 sets that go one way, and 3 will go the other way. But if you've got a directional print, it might be easier to make 3 rows that go from left to right, starting with your 4 patch, and then 4 rows that go from left to right, starting with your solid block. Okay, and just to reiterate here, if you're sewing all your rows, you can sew them all exactly the same, press to one side, and then you're just going to flip-flop your rows as you line them up on the design board, and then they will all nest and be easy. If not, you're going to need to pay attention if you've got that directional print that you're going to want row 1 to be right side up and row 2 to be right side up. So you're just going to start with opposite blocks and press those opposite directions. I hope that's really clear. It's just really easy to go start to finish, make 6 or 7 rows exactly the same, and then you just flip one row over after you've already pressed it. Okay guys, now we have all 7 of our rows assembled. You do not have to lay them out on a design wall or a design board like this unless you have a directional print. If you have a directional print, it's still up to you. I would much rather rip one little bitty seam than try to rip an entire row. So our rows are looking good. I've got all of my pattern in the top left. My secondary color is the top right. All of it lines up. I'm ready to sew it together. So I'm just going to connect row 1 to row 2 and make that a section, and then I'm going to connect row 3 and row 4, row 5 and row 6, and then I'm going to come back and zip up these seams. So all of our seams should nest, and we're just going to pin it really quickly. I'm going to pin once at each intersection, and then we'll sew it down. now we've got row 1 and 2 connected, row 3 and 4, row 5 and 6, and then row 7 is floating on the bottom. So I'm just going to connect these and make it into a 4 strip, make these into a 3 strip, and then we'll connect the whole thing and we'll be done with our quilt top, guys. Okay guys, there you have it. This is our fast and easy 4-patch fun quilt. I hope you enjoyed sewing it along with me. It's definitely a fun project. We did this in an afternoon. If you're new to quilting, this is a fantastic one to start with. And if you're a seasoned quilter, maybe this one is kind of your easy breezy go-to when you need a quick gift or just something that you do between difficult projects. If you enjoy watching these tutorials or any of my unboxing videos, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.